Alex, on creating awareness to the public at large, to the society at large, on the biodiversity of Maliau Basin, how would you how would you hope that the authorities can do to preserve, to manage for the biodiversity there in Maliau Basin?
Well, I personally really hope that Maliau Basin will be gazetted as a national park, as it's really unique in geology and biodiversity. Presently, it's only classified as a Class 1 protected forest, which in my opinion is a good step forward. But then, being gazetted as a national park status, it shows that the state is making a more concrete and committed step forward. Okay, as you know, as all is known, Uganda is famous for the mountain gorillas, and Uganda has made an effort to make this as a tourist attraction worldwide, and now it's being so successful, and so many tourists actually has been going into Uganda just for the mountain gorillas, and likewise, in Malaysia, but in particular Sabah, can follow likewise, to make this as a world heritage. Well, for equipment in the Maliau Basin, or be it in any of the forest places, or be it anywhere, for nature photographers, we actually, the most ideal is to having 2 camera bodies. Why? Because if one were to fail, you have another one at least to back up. And for lenses, we have for waterfall photography, we have wide angle like a 35 mm, which in some of the cases we even bring it down to 21 mm and 17 mm, and also you have a short tele lens like 70-200, which to bring the subject closer, like especially the orchids, the dendrobium, which is hanging about 8 feet above the ground level. The short tele lens is very important because you can actually to draw the subject closer. And some of these lenses that you were to invest, you need to check it out because many of them have a close-up capacity of a quarter life size. If 1:4, when it's mentioned, if 1:4 is actually quarter life size. So you need to take note on those sort of focal length. And for close-up and micro photography, it's good to have a dedicated micro lens, this is a 105 mm micro lens. It gives it 1:1 magnification, and it's very important, especially the frog shot in the panties. If you use the another type of lenses, you cannot be going to have that type of magnification. Okay, and it's also important for landscape nature photography to have a proper tripod who give you a very steady what you call holding. Obviously, the weight is a problem to many, but you cannot compromise too much, on the quality of the equipment that you're bringing in, especially to places like Maliau Basin. It's not an easy place to get in. So once you get in, it's important to get the type of shots. So you do not compromise on shortcuts on equipment. Basically, what the saying goes is, you get what you invest in, and if you shortcut, you actually compromise in a lot of image quality. And the other thing is, for close-up and landscape, when you take into put our camera equipment in the tripod, shutter cable release is very important, because what happens is no matter how steady if you were to press your shutter, it bound to have micro shakes, which you might not be able to see it if your picture are not enlarged. But if you do an enlargement, you will actually emphasize on those micro shakes. Okay, and the other thing is, for micro and close up, it's very important to have a reflector is to what you call to deflect in the light and to fill in the subjects, especially micro, small little objects like a frog, like a flower. You need this. The other thing is, in the under the foliage, you need LED lights fill up the subject, so that it will not be what you call so dull, loss of contrast. And the other one is the last piece of the equipment is your light meter. It's very important because the light meter, basically, if you were to point it to your subject, especially waterfall, the water is actually white and it gives you a very high contrast as compared to the shadow area. So basically, we will need to take the reading from the white towards to the shadow, and we must and this is very useful because it gives you the dynamic range, or the number of f-stop from the brightest area to the lightest area. That's why the light meter is very crucial to determine, to tell you the type of latitude, the type of dynamic range, whether your image sensor actually can take in all the number of stops differential. Okay. The other one is, it's very good, to have this sort of vinyl bag, weatherproof bag. Basically, you put your equipment inside while you travel, before and after your shooting, so to stabilize the humidity level of your camera equipment, your camera body and the lenses, so that you will not get the fogging into the inside the lens when you take it out, in the different humidity level. Basically, these are the type of basic equipment. Of course, you need to have a blower, to remove the dust. And being a trekker, we always have emergency lights. This is the headlights. Just in case if you are shooting way beyond the sunset, where you need to go back into the forest, it's actually very dark. So you need this sort of lights, and don't compromise, because these type of things will save you, in your photo trip.
Alex, thank you for showing us your gear. It is indeed fascinating. This is an example of the trip that M&S Photo Group organizes. Like for example, this one in Maliau Basin. We have more trips planned in the future. Log into our M&S website, also Facebook and Instagram. And stay tuned for our next episode on Malaysian Naturegrapher. Thank you, Alex, again for coming on to the show. Do remember to click and hit the bell and subscribe button down here and stay tuned. And if you are keen to become a member of M&S, do log in to M&S website page and also the Facebook page. Alex, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me here today for this show. Thank you very much, Constance.
Right, stay tuned for the next exciting episode on M&S Naturegrapher.
Yeah.